There. Jeez. Well, this thing worked last time. I might have to get my other thingy, my bobber. Maybe I'll do that. Hi. Sorry. I was watching The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. You'll have to excuse my tardiness. And then we'll put you on this thing. You can get a look at my kitchen. Oh, that's a little better. Hey, what's going on, man? Oh, goodness. Surviving winter. Oh. Surviving winter here in the Great White North. I know that's Canada, but still. I'm close enough, like an hour and a half from Canada. Tardiness is, yeah, I know. Tardiness is unacceptable. Last week I had you on this thing, just phone holder, and for whatever reason, I can't put my mic receiver thingy on there. Oh, they're rubbing it in. I see how it is. Florida. I haven't talked to my old man in a little bit. I'm sure you guys have quite the weather down there compared to us. Yesterday it rained, and like it snowed in the morning, and okay, it's New York. We got a bunch of snow, and then during work, like I'm in a building. So I didn't notice that it had rained. I went outside. It was all the snow pretty much had melted. I was like, all right, cool. But then this morning, it got really chilly over the night and then snowed again. So what you get is frozen, obviously frozen water turns to ice and then a light dusting of snow again. And man, that stuff is slick. Have any snow? Yeah, just a little bit, Bill. Just not. I don't know, maybe we got half an inch or something like that. But yeah, definitely not cool. We're looking at 35 to 40 below here. Whew, that is chilly. It's 40, so we got Florida peeps. Yeah. I still remember, it was 15 years ago, went down, visit my dad. He lives, and he still lives, Ocala area. And we went to Disney. The kids were young and everything. We went to Disney, and it got down to like 60 degrees at night. And we came from sleet and snow and everything else. I think was it March when we went down? Got down there, it's gorgeous weather, but it got down to 60, and my old man just had the heat cranked in the car we had coming from Daytona. And he's shivering like cold. It's just like, will you get out of here? We're gonna get some snow, and it's gonna be cold. Cool. Yeah. Yep. Pick over your head is nice. Yeah, that's so. I give you as you can tell, covered in tattoos. I'm like I said, I've told you before, metal bands, this and that. I enjoy our lives. So it is Christmas time. We have some Christmas stuff up, but in our kitchen we got Jack, and then always and forever we got jack-o'-lanterns up. We're I don't know. Both wife and I are Gen X. We live how we live. Gotta turn the brightness up here, even though it'll shine on my glasses so I can read some stuff. But yeah, one of my wife's favorite all-time movies. She has a phone case on hers that is the carpet, that orange carpet from the movie. That's a big thing, and she has a blanket too. So yeah, we had a tad. Then it melted, and now we're gonna get more. Yep, that's it. Somebody. I saw a video, and some girl from upstate New York had posted. She's just like, I live in upstate New York, and blah blah blah. And there's an argument to be made for what's actually upstate. I think she was actually up. Anyway, she's like, I don't shovel my driveway. I just drive over the snow until it compacts. And I did have to comment. It's like, I own a snowblower, and I still do Oh, nice. Just outside Ocala. Yeah, he's been pretty much Ocala area the entire time. Kind of bounced around here and there, different houses. He rents houses down there, doesn't or now he owns, but he bought a piece of property, he put a house on it. But yeah, it's I've been to Florida a couple times. I've been obviously to race a couple times, but more so to visit. I went down for one of my best friend's wedding. It's be 11 years ago, something like that, 12 years ago. And I love Florida, but also it's a shock to the system when you're a northerner. That humidity is it takes me a good 3-4 days to even slightly adapt to it. I know you guys have AC everywhere, but it's a shock to the system. It's we get like 2 weeks, 3 weeks of kind of oppressive type of heat, like you guys live in, a majority of the summer. And it takes me a little bit. I'd rather have it hot than cold. You can always bundle up. You can always get in a pool. What's going on, man? Are you ever going to be back in Wisconsin next year? Oh, I would love to come. The tracks I've been out to in the Midwest, I've only been to two. What you would consider Midwest. I've been to Ohio, but I still consider that, East Coast, type of northern type of thing. I've been to Iowa and I've been to Lazowski Speedway. That was awesome. The Midwest dirt, I really like it. It's a little more it's slick like here, but you can get real good, bite. Obviously, if you're from there. But yeah, big fan of the dirt. I'm a big fan of racing everywhere, but the southern stuff throws me for a loop. I'm not used to all that grip. It's fun to drive. It's definitely a cool experience if you've never experienced that type of grip. But those of us who are on the slick stuff, you can find grip if you know what you're doing. But it's when it's all grip, when it's real, if you want to call it blue groove, if you want to call it, a black line, it's definitely a different thing. Yeah, but that Wisconsin, I'd race anywhere if I could afford to go. I do get offers quite often. Hey, you got to come out here for this race and that. It's like, man, if I had an endless supply of money, I absolutely would. Oh, you are in Red Clay. That's cool. I would like to experience. Some of the Southerners have told me that not everything down south is, that super high bite red clay. That often they get saturated, wet, heavy tracks, and I'd like to experience that. I've never been on that kind of to where it's so wet it can be slick, but there's grip. So it's probably a blend of what we have up here. We get real clay up here, but it has a tendency to get infused with dirt, and it's very, very difficult to get a hold of. Yeah, red clay would be nice. If they, in my experience, every time I've been on red clay, it's been treated with calcium and really hardens up and gets that blue groove and super fast and usually one line type of thing. But I'd like to get on one of those wet tracks. I think that it'd be really, really fun to be on something that, the cart would pitch on you and you could drive it a little bit sideways. I'm not a big guy on, even in my UAS stuff. I don't like to let it slide into the corner. It's never, you can yaw it really good on the stuff up here. You can yaw it down south. I've done that before because you have so much horsepower. But the people like to, kind of sling it into the corner. I've never been super comfortable, relying on my right rear to get that kind of bite. But I don't mind a pitch or a yaw to, look at the corner different. That's been a real big growing thing with me going back, but getting into clone racing is that you don't feel that same thing. Like the carts are designed to turn, and when they're lower horsepower, they you can get tight. Don't get me wrong, but it's not. You're not looking at the corner when you sat in an open. It doesn't just go around the turn. It kind of you lift and it takes a set, and you're looking at the corner completely different. It's been a learning experience. It's been a lot of fun. doing that. I can tell you what that I mentioned last week there. I've been playing NASCAR 25, and I finally got into. I've been YouTubing a whole bunch and getting some different setups. Well, I tried a setup last night on Charlotte, and it was like my buddy Doug is like, all he heard me say is loose, loose, loose as soon as I lifted coming into the corner. And the problem is some of the setups will make you so you can wide open, and that's great. But then after a couple, if you wide open the turn to get your position off a start, it'll they're pretty accurate. Like if you start to burn your stuff up, all of a sudden you get twitchy off the corner, and it's just that's been a lot of fun. Been interesting to say the least. But what's going on in the kart world? I saw a little. I don't know if it's a spat or not, but Terry Odom Productions putting on a race, and then maybe it's Triple T schedule a race right on top of it. That happens. I mean, I think there's enough, Southern racers, people in the area. There'll be enough karts at both. Maybe if there's one big race, it would do really well. If there's two, I'm sure they're going to be able to field. I think it was Prater and Son. Mr. Prater put out. I must have missed it. Did WKA finally come on board with the NKA AKRA standards for engines? Because I saw him post something. And I'm like, really? Did they? I either missed it or I don't know what. I'm not on the in. Definitely would like to, or possibly would do a video on that. That when I did the NKA AKRA rules, and when they came together, I thought it was a great thing. And then WKA was the outlier. They still had a different set of rules, even though very similar. Technically you can't run those other two series type of engine packages at WKA, but if WKA got in line, I think it's better. Like the UAS standard is that we have one set of rules. No matter where in the country you run, these are the set of rules. You can go to anywhere in the country and run this set of rules. But it was kind of disheartening when WKA wasn't on board. I mean, it was close, and I guess if you finish top three, it would be problematic if they tore you down and found you had a AKRA or NKA engine. But if they did come on board, that's fantastic. Oh yeah, James Stanley leaving Phantom was a big deal too. Awesome post by him. Extremely respectful. Understand it, man. That there's absolutely nothing wrong with Phantom. He'd been there 11 years. He's a lot of our go-tos. Anybody that does run Phantom. I mean, I still have one. It's my open, and he's still going to be available, to a degree to help people with setups and stuff. There's my son trying to be quiet. You don't have to be quiet. I can't hear it. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah. But it's just weird. He's been there for so long. He's been kind of the contact. If I had a question about Phantom or, a setup, and I even bounced a couple ideas for video ideas to him. Hey, what are your thoughts on this? And I'm sure that's still going to be available, but to, go to K1 and be, be in the position that he is, obviously it was a big step for him. And it kind of what I shared and posted was, the hard decisions are often worth it. No easy decision comes with it, that type of reward type of thing. And he must have, lamented about it. Didn't, I just thought, for his future, this will be a good move. And obviously he's a stand-up dude. I think he's going to do K1 fantastic things. The interactions I've had with him, fantastic dude. And I think K1's, as much as a receiving such a great person that, Phantom, unfortunately, is losing that great person. But I think Phantom will be fine. They got a lot of people on board that are are capable of doing, or at least filling the void of where James is going to leave there. Yeah, that's I never actually talked to him on the phone, but any message, I mean, he was, I was respectful, like he said in the post. It was like, hey, I'll try and, if you're on Phantom and you still need a little assistance, he can, he still wants to continue racing and stuff, so he's going to be in the know. But I was very respectful when I messaged him, not too late at night, not on, he didn't, and if I did send it on the weekend, he waited until business hours to get back at me. And, I think as long as people are respectful in doing that, he's going to, like always, go out of his way to assist people. Just fantastic. K1 is making pretty big impact. They've been buying tracks. Oh, really? That's, call it ignorance. I know of K1. Not unaware, just never had, I guess I've never had any of their products or anything like that. But I know of them. Oh, wow. Hey, how you doing? I'm glad to have you swing in and enjoy the conversation. At least me talking to myself and interacting with the chat. I've often thought that I should probably come better prepared here and have a list of things, like I know Ultimate Kart Media does it. My buddy Carmody just started up what do somebody refer to him as Kart Jesus? Started up a thing to where people can interact with him, and he had topics and everything. And I could do that, but I'm not that structured, man. Videos come by the whatever I feel like is in my mind, whatever I feel like talking, and I think that it would be, I don't want to say a disservice because that'd be silly to say, but it's just not me. I like to fly by the seat of my pants, and I'm a consummate procrastinator. My wife can confirm. We like to know structure. Yeah, I just think it keeps things lively. I can ramble off on a story. You guys bring up something, we can discuss that type of thing. Structure I'd feel hampered by it, and I lose train of thought pretty quick. I mean, I squirrel out pretty bad, as you guys have seen. I had a super healthy dinner. I'm not complaining at all because it was delicious and everything. My wife shoots me a text. She's just some ramen and grilled cheese for dinner tonight. I'm like, well, I got to get my protein in. So protein shake for lifting. You can't build muscle without protein. So I did add that in. But, it's just like, grilled cheese and ramen. It was phenomenal. It was really, really good. But yeah. Just, I'd say it's the beginning, or not even to the middle part. Like, I know that, I know, Southern people get to continue racing. So, cool. And now that I have the game, I get to race a little bit. But the winter, it does kill me. It is killing me not to be out in the barn. And it was Carmody bringing him up again. He was just like, how much is insulation? And I was like, what? Oh, you mean for the barn so I can stay out there? Yeah, that's on the gonna do list. I am a homeowner, but God, if everything was made out of metal, I could weld stuff and everything. I'd be a far better owner of a home if everything was built out of steel and I could grind and weld and do all that stuff. But wood, it's time and money. Time, as with racing, anything else, time and money. Could I get a heater? Sure. Could I do insulation? Sure. It's time and money though, and it's just like, yeah, we Northerners race just inside. Yeah. So again, on the procrastination side, Sunday is more than likely going to be, I think I'm going to call it Sights and Sound of Syracuse Indoors. I think that I determined that'd be pretty cool because I'm not very good at the vlogging type of thing. I don't talk a whole lot, but I got a bunch of racing. I did put the Insta 360 out in the track. So I haven't even looked at it yet. I have glanced at what I recorded on my phone. I did get a I don't want to say sneak peek, but I was in Dave Richards' pit, and they went for they just won them all, everything, all the pro class, the pro cone, and everything like that. Tell you what, the Tricon indoors, yo, I know for years and years the was it the Phenom was a very dominant force in indoor racing. Well, everything I saw from practice on, like I watched the 318. I think they went with 31 or something like that for the race, but I think it's 318. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Chavis powered ride, and dude, they're on burst 33s, and they were just lights out fast. Now I had said, I was like, man, the thing looks like a rocket after practice, and Dave was a little bit dismissive. He's like, oh, we'll see. The group we went out with wasn't that fast. I mean, he was just, the other competitors, he was just clicking them off. Phenomenal driver, phenomenal setup. The Tricon was on a rail indoors. The track was not as bit up nearly in past. New York State, the indoor kart championship, did make a post like, hey, thank you for all the positive feedback and everything. We're always looking to improve. And some people had mentioned stuff. I think JP Curry got on there. I saw JP in the pits there, and he's just like, he didn't know if it was a time thing, if it was how much syrup was on there, but the track didn't seem to have the grip that it had in the past, but there were more karts at the event than before. There was also some level 2 Predators, and they had like knobby tires, like lawnmower tires on, and they screeched all around the track. I think I got some of that footage. But I was talking with somebody there, and they were talking about, that might have been kind of peeling off that good rubber that was getting laid out. And so, yeah, we indoor race. I talked with my other buddy that runs Dreamfield, and I was just like, man, if we had, I would be racing. If it was dirt, I would be racing. I have no intentions of running concrete again. It takes knowledge, it takes time, and the couple times I did it, I didn't have. It was fun to be at the track. It was fun to see everybody. It was fun to hang out and everything. But the racing was just not my cup of tea. Now, if you translate that to dirt, even if we got to pit outside and be cold and all that stuff, if it's a dirt race, I'm in. So there's that. Syracuse is a blast race. Every race there. Nice. Yep. Weld yourself a wood burn. I know. Do you do anything different maintenance to your kart to winterize it? Not talking about tires, just maintenance in general. I don't particularly. I clean it as normal and lubricate all the bearings. What I use the winter for, and I'm sure other people do too, is an assessment of where everything is. Do you, and I might, if I were to suggest, if you're going to buy anything over the winter, I would suggest spindle bearings, hub bearings, front hubs, rear axle bearings, things like that. Assess where they're at, realize how many races you might have on some of them. And they're talking about Southern Racing and some of the higher bite tracks, and what like Phantom recommends only 4 to 6 races on a set of spindles, this and that, and not everybody can afford to do that. I would suggest, if you can't afford new spindles, which a lot of people don't have an unlimited budget for racing, I would just highly suggest bearings. They are the biggest wear item of them all. Spindles, yes, there's flex there. Yes, the welds can, give a little bit, but I'd say most of your movement, most of what is going to take you out of, say, scaling, is putting bearings in things, getting, fresh setup in there. That's going to make not a bigger difference, but it's a more reasonable thing to do if your budget isn't unlimited. If you can't afford to put, put an axle in every year. I don't do that. I also am not the fastest person on the earth. So maybe there's something to it. But I would recommend, bearings, maintenance, Heims, your steering Heims, things like that. Really look at things that move on your cart, like bearings and stuff like that, to replace over the winter. Just you have the time. If you're not racing until like myself, I won't see a kart track until March, April, something like that. It's a good time to assess what's out of a line, assess what could be replaced, consider how many races are on there, and go ahead and replace those things. I raced in Ireland on the ice rink a few years back. It was an exciting experience. Yeah, it's I'm a northerner who doesn't like the cold, so I tolerate it. I deal with it. I kind of have to. I live in it. But my boss he's a snowmobile kind of dude. Just got himself a brand new Polaris. Was it 950? Something like that. He's just like, gotta squeeze the trigger, man. No, I did. And the only reason is, well, two reasons. I don't like the cold. And he's like, oh, you won't be cold. You'll be so pumped full of adrenaline, which may be true. But I don't need another hobby. And I don't need a hobby that's going to cost me, even a used sled. I think he was selling a couple of his used ones. They weren't that old and they didn't have that many miles on them or anything, but like $8,000 for, a used Polaris. And I'm like, bro, it's that stuff could be bearings. That could be spindles. That could be, rebuilds for the clones. That could be, bottom end. Yeah. There's never an off season if you're willing to drive. This is true. If I were to drive down south, I'm sure I could find a race somewhere. But yeah, it's again on the pulling a trailer and that money. Obviously, Christmas is this time of year, so all my extra, if you want to call it extra funds, go to that. And then by the time you get through Christmas, then you're recovering from that, and then it's steadily building towards that. Usually the way it goes for me is I wait on JC Specialties open house because they give a discount on that day. If you go down there, I think even phone orders or something like that. Maybe it's just in person. I guess I'd have to ask on that. But I usually, kind of squirrel up. I will buy occasional stuff up until that point, but nothing crazy. Save a little chunk of money, and then when I go down to JC, get a majority of my stuff. Daytona is coming fast. Yeah, I see High Performance. They're posting tires, the Vaga Day and the Reaper Day and all that, and they're going down on their UAS rides and doing that, and it's on my bucket list. I know my dad lives in Florida. One of my best friends, Jamie, lives in Florida, so it's on the bucket list to go, but it never financially. This YouTube thing really hasn't. Yeah, if YouTube paid a little better, I might be able to afford to do it some year. But as the current standings happen, it's just not in the thing. Although like I just said, Jamie lives down there, my dad lives down there. I have a place to stay, so that'd definitely take a burden off me. That I wouldn't have to afford a hotel and stuff. I'd just be able to drive to the track and drive back to their places in order to do that. So I have that going for me. It's just 1,800 miles. 1,800 miles? Something like that. No. 1,200 miles. 1,200 miles. It was 18 hours when I drove down there last time, but that was in a car boogieing. I'm sure that from Western New York, where I'm at, pulling a trailer, it's going to be 22 hours. I'd have to stop. There's no way. When I went down for my buddy's wedding, I drove straight through, and that was a bad experience. I was also a smoker back then, so it was just middle of the night, 4 a.m, just rifling down cigarettes, trying to keep awake. Yep. Are they running? So Christmas is on a Thursday this year. Is it? Are they running Friday, Saturday, Sunday directly after Christmas? Or is it more towards the New Year's? I don't know. Nice. Yep. So when my old man moved down there, he said half a mile from, is it Speedway Park? I think he rented a house or whatever, and he lived just down the street from Speedway Park. I think it's Speedway Park, the bull ring there. Um, that was awesome. I've been to Tampa before that closed. I've been to Jasper before. Just haven't had the opportunity to go to Daytona yet. The plan is to do Attack of the Clones. Right now, again, loosely, my daughter had mentioned going to a metal festival, Flyleaf, and who did I say? I think I talked about this last week. That's the same weekend. I don't know if that'll play out or not, or if it was just like I hope to go type of thing. If if she can get the time off, if it, I plan to be there. The only thing that would keep me from going there is my daughter wanting to go to that and us doing a kind of a father-daughter type of trip thing, which I'm okay with. That's I had an absolute blast down in Kentucky when we went down to that. So I could see me doing either. My initial impression is that I want to, I think I'm not riding an older chassis this year. I have the 5.3 titanium clutch. I'll have MIDI gears for Selinsgrove. My knowledge on Reapers, but I'm not great at them because I don't get to run them that often. But this past time when I ran them, I got a feel of what they may need to be fast. So at least I have that kind of in my back pocket that maybe. I mean, I was off the pace. I was definitely off the pace when I went there last year. I think there's contributing factors to that. I'm old, I'm a bag of excuses, but gearing, the tire knowledge. I was just doing kind of what I would normally do to like a Burris, and I think my knowledge and what I've absorbed since then has increased. So I think I'll be better off. Plus, I'll be on the Shatter, very free chassis. I think that's what I needed. I didn't need so much mechanical bite in the Kart because I did get tight, and I had a hard time. I was chasing the Kart a little bit all day long for practice and to qualifying and all that stuff. I was chasing it being just snug, and it wasn't slow. It just wasn't. The snugness was killing my lap times. And drove good. I was on the Scythe, I think, and it drove really well. But again, I kind of had that experience up here when I was running the Recon or running the Scythe up here. Of course, my Recon was a 2016. A bunch of old parts on it. It is what it is. But I found that the Kart would turn, but you don't have to be pushing or too loose for you to be robbed of speed. And, you want to, I was explaining this to my buddy Doug in NASCAR, the game there, that you want to be on just the ever so slight bite side of free in order to be fast. Like it should be right on the edge of uncontrollable, but you still got it. Same thing correlates to karts. And that's what I found down at Selinsgrove was that I could control it way too easy. Like I was rarely out of shape. Like maybe qualifying, I was a bit out of shape because I went a little too far. And then when I came back, it was again too snug. So you're scrubbing speed when your kart almost turns too good and isn't. It's turning well enough, but it isn't free enough to maintain that momentum. And plus, so when somebody got squirrely, I checked up, and it's another learning experience in the land of Clone World that I've had to kind of learn is that I get why clone racers get such a bad rap of bumper cars and running into each other and doing all this stuff, because if you lift, you're done. I lost the draft immediately. I lifted to avoid an accident. I didn't want to T-bone the guy. I didn't want to wreck him, ruin his day. I lifted, and he managed to gather it up quick enough that he didn't lose the pack. I lost the pack, and then I was just wide open, just turning. And next thing you know, there's the blue and yellow. I'm being lapped, and it's an unfortunate circumstance that you get into, but I was really hoping for it because again, the kart felt all right. And I thought if I could maintain with the pack that, maybe I had a chance through attrition or whatever to maybe pick up some spots and get a feel of the draft and where I needed to be in the draft. I just never got that opportunity. First time on some, pretty bit up type of surface with the clone. It was just a learning experience, and I think I learned a lot, and that's all you can do. If you have those off weekends, if you have those weekends where you just don't have it, pull from that. Do what just break it down. Like, just don't throw your hands up and be like, oh man, I was slow. Why were you slow? Could it have been this? Could it have been that? Could it have been in my case, what I felt is a culmination of things that just made me, 4/10 off, and that's huge. 4/10 is huge, but beginning of practice, I was almost a second down, so I had made improvements to that point because I learned. You can't be defeatist. I rally against that. Like, you can get frustrated with a circumstance. Absolutely, everybody understands that. Whatever's going on, but don't let it totally get you down. Learn from it. Be like, all right, well, if this happened, this is why that happened. It may take you a minute, sit back in your pits, be doing your normal maintenance stuff, but kind of go, all right, well, if this is why that's happening, then this is why that's happening. And then you can kind of, pick up speed. Like I said, I think, I don't want to say in the future, I'm guessing at 4/10 of a second, but I know for a fact when I went out there and practiced, I was like a full second down on people. And I'm like, a second off the pace is just ginormous. So the fact that I was able to, even if it was, half a second, the fact that I was able to improve that was good. It wasn't good that I was so slow. It wasn't good that I got lapped. It wasn't, all these things weren't good, but I didn't let me get me down. Hey man, I made improvements. I made this adjustment. Okay. Next time I know when I go down there, if I bump my pressure, if I do this, if I do that, it's going to improve the performance of the kart and my learning experience. So there's your positivity for the week. Go off on tangents, don't I? Oof. At least they're positive tangents. I spend all day being frustrated with cars, so when I get off of work, I get the pump iron and stuff like that, and then get out, and then I don't like to dwell on the day. I like to, things like this, going live with you guys and having conversations about racing and stuff. It livens me up. It's way better than working on cars because I had to work on I had to work on a Volkswagen and a Subaru today. And Volkswagen was, I get German engineering. It's well made. But when you don't work on them all the time, it's like Braille, man. It's just feeling around like, oh, how's this core support going here? But yeah, this is an idea of mine, not that you guys care, but I'll say it anyway. I have another YouTube channel. It's Ben Jammin Reviews. Ben Jammin Reviews. Benjamin, I always do that wordplay thing. But I haven't posted on it like 2 years, and I might do a shave, a hair trim type of thing, and a shave. So if you see me post on Facebook, share that channel or something. You don't have to subscribe or anything. I'm not saying that, but if you're wondering what the heck is this, why is he doing beard content? Well, kind of beard content. I'm gonna do a beard trim, just a maintenance trim and this and that. Thought I'd get my mic up and maybe have that. I think, and I contemplated this. I don't know what the term is. I don't swear on this channel on purpose. There are kids that watch this channel that, it's a family-friendly sport. I specifically go out of my way to talk like I'm talking to my grandmother. I don't swear in front of my grandmother. I try not to in front of my mother as best I can, but a respectful thing. I don't ever want to do that. But I think I'm probably not going to drop the F-bomb or anything like that, but I think I'm going to loosen the standards because it's not that channel doesn't mean anything to me. It's that I would like to I'm always Ben, but Ben's very careful about what he says on here as far as, letting anything bad, slip out. So if you hear an S word or something like that on there, I think I'm going to let it fly. It'd be kind of nice not to have to watch my mouth. just for the fun. And I don't think I'm going to offend anybody by anything I said. I'm not going to say anything, too out of pocket or off color or something like that. But I just think, it'd be fun if I brought, I don't even have any anticipation of, trying to bring that channel up to what this channel's become, because I'm out of my element. But there are things that I would like to do. I'd like to do Beard Octane stuff a little more. I'd like to do, beard. I asked for a electric back shaver because I'm hairy. It might be fun to do something just a little more lively and goof around type of thing. On the other side of things, I don't know. I was looking at my YouTube app and I was thinking, I have a whole nother channel that I have. It's been a year. It had to have been a year since I posted anything on that channel. I feel bad. I might not have, obviously the subscriber base that I have on here, but those guys, they might want to see something. Yeah, glad you could be here. Just me in my kitchen now. I know doesn't have the ambiance of the race shop and everything like that, but it's yeah. It's gonna suck not being around the small bore 2 strokes. Yeah. I do have fond memories of the small bore stuff. Back when the UAS was, really becoming, they've been Mark, when Mark created it's been a thing, and Teresa went into a story about how he just wanted to run his 2-stroke, and there were so many, they didn't have a class for it, so he basically created a class like, hey, this is deal, run your open engines type of thing, let's get this going. And in its heyday, and, arguably the best years as far as numbers. I'm not gonna say, now we have so much technology and horsepower and all that stuff that it's fantastic. Now, arguably during the, kind of I'd say middle-ish years of me racing UAS, it was like a field full of sedans. You had 125s and 131s and stuff like that. Some people could still compete with 100 cc's type of thing. And it was just, there's a special place in my heart for that back then. It was a lot of fun. Now that Infinity Racing Chassis is, kind of making a comeback with, is it Kevin Denny? I draw blanks on names. I apologize, but now that he's building them, they're getting out there. When I went down to Liberty Raceway in North Carolina, the first and only time I had ever been there, absolutely loved the track, fantastic. I was on my Infinity Epic there. I was on a 125cc sedan. Just a special place in my heart back then. The small bore stuff really. I got to participate in the Fred Jackson Memorial Race way back when. Before it was, now it's 2-stroke only, or air-cooled 2-stroke only. But back then, there was, I think, the Billet Beast. It was Billet 305, pardon me, that was available there. Matt Hope just smoked us on that thing. That thing was a monster. It was crazy. 60cc to 85cc class for the motorized bikes. Nice. Have a stock one, and they have Super Sport in the middle of being built. And I got reported by Team Peak Air, 8 or 9 horsepower race motor. Nice, very cool. Yeah, that's racers appreciate racers. That's often, maybe I don't want to say often. That's an overstatement. I enjoy NASCAR. A lot of people call it NASCRAP, NAPCAR, whatever. It's racing, man. I love racing, and I can see it. Something like you're into, I'm into it. That's it. I find I was having this conversation with my buddies and I think even my wife or something like that. Like, if you're passionate about something and you're doing something, I'm into it. I watched a whole thing or a couple videos on a dude doing shoe polishing. That there's the art of doing something, whether it be racing or you're into this pottery. Watching people do pottery is fantastic. I just like to see people passionate about things and doing things they love. So obviously, engine wise, we have that bond type of thing. But yeah, modified YZ85 pipe fitted for the heck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think that'd be a riot. I could see that. Uh, I'm not huge into drag racing. I did go to the Gator Nationals when I was a kid. I think it would cause a big kerfuffle. So I was in my first iteration of a band. It was, again, Besser and Doug played bass in it, but it was a high school band. There was going to be this, it was at the high school. It was called Chaos. They did it every year, and you could bring your local band there. And the band played, AC/DC, Metallica, Black Crowes, stuff like that. And I was just starting to get involved in the band as the singer. And then Chaos was going on. It was the first time I was ever going to be on stage type of thing. And then my dad kind of dropped it on us that we were going to Florida, the Gator Nationals. We were also going to see my great grandma who lived down there and stop into the community and stuff. It ended up being a great time, but as a teenager, 14, 15 years old, I didn't want to hear any of that stuff. I was, but man, I tell you what, going to a NASCAR race, hearing the power of those engines going by, going to a drag race, the nitromethane, oh my, just shockwaves through your body. Horsepower is I love it in any form. It's fantastic. I just like the fact that we don't have to register these. Yeah. No insurance needed. Let's go to the track and race, man. The people who don't race don't understand karts or anything. They're like, oh, just rip it around town. I'm like, the police would absolutely get called, especially with the open. Like, there's the clone's kind of loud. I could probably get a lap or two around the blocks around here without, getting too much, flack. Okay, if I broke out the YZ250, the Bama 250 there, not only is it exceptionally dangerous to be ripping around town on one, because I just live in a small town. I mean, this is always debate. We have the town of Dansville and the village of Dansville, and and then all the surrounding areas that use the school district. We're about 10,000 people, give or take. It may be a little more, it may be a little less, depends if you're talking town, you're talking village, but I can assure you that I know quite a few of the police in the town. I'm on really good terms with some of them. Police chief actually went to school with my wife. I'm sure that I just don't need to make a name for myself. So to the people, it's just ripping around town, test this or that. I'm like, yeah, it sounds fun, but I'm just going to go ahead and not do that. Daily margin. Yeah. We got some. We had somebody with a weed eater type of thing on a bicycle that used to buzz around town. Nobody paid any mind to it. Cool. And now, of course, you got the e-bikes all over the place. It's amazing the difference when we fire up the FCO. Oh, I'm sure, Ellen. That's got to be a riot. Legend cars they look like a ton of fun. I'm not a pavement guy, but that you see those mostly on pavement. I think that would be a riot. Hey, what's going on? Or a snowmobile car, yeah. Do William Kern / Pride and Trust painting there in Dansville? I do not. I'd say unfortunately, unfortunately, I can't answer that question because I don't know. Probably have seen something. I work like four blocks from me that way, so like I have tunnel vision a lot. Like I'd get up and I'm like, hit the coffee, brush the teeth, roll, get my breakfast, whatever, roll out, and I'm at work in 2 minutes. And then when I get out, I go from work, and the YMCA is just around the corner, and I go work out, and then I go from the YMCA to home. Like I'm pretty much a homebody when I'm in Dansville. So, my boss, he's lived here, he's 56? No, 66, something like that. He talks about, oh, I was up on this road and that road. You know where that is? I'm like, not a clue. I just don't wander. There's a big difference. You got a wicked Minerali motorized bikes too, and then they Somalic Performance minus 90C. We can hit 65 miles. Nice. That's cool. Oh, he's right below the castle. Oh, it's right around the castle's there. Half a mile maybe. Castle is right there. So, and that would make sense because I don't go that way. Works this way. That'd be that way. Yeah, like it. I could probably see the castle if maybe not my front yard. If I go up the second floor, I could probably see the top of the castle from my house. Yeah. Just an FYI, KB Speedway rule meeting this Sunday at noon at Greenville, New York. Awesome. Yeah, I got to get... Friday night races are just a bear. They're just a bear to get to. I get out at 5, and it's fine. Especially, like the KB Speedway, what he's speaking about there is like an hour from me. It's down 2 tracks in, we'll say Wellsville. I know the AMS is in Allentown. It's Wellsville. That's the same as I lived in Sparta, and it's Dansville School District. It's in the vicinity. Anyway, KB, yeah, I really liked all the pictures and stuff that I saw of the track. I think that's fantastic. That I got to get down there. It's just Fridays. I get out at work at 5, and it's not that I couldn't ask my boss to get out early. The problem is I don't want to do. I work for a very small business. We have 9 total employees, and we are always busy. And Fridays are gotta go days. The Fridays are when people want their vehicles back for the weekend. So I feel. Don't get me wrong. If I have to take off time, I will take off time. I will take a Friday off, or if I'm going on vacation or going, out to a bigger race or something like that. It's just hard for me to take that away from him, knowing full well that I dump my workload. I'm trying to phrase that differently. My workload on the other guys. Once I leave the body shop, then there's a painter and another tech. And I don't want to leave them guys to have to finish off a job I started. And, it's because, not only is my boss, he's also a friend of mine. I've known him literally almost my entire life. He is friends with my dad. They used to race motocross when I was just wee. He loves to tell that story that I was pooping in my diapers when I was at the track when they're motocrossing together. Dave is my friend. He's my boss. He tells me what to do. The man pays me, but he's also a friend of mine. We have a great working relationship, and I don't want to do that to the small business. I don't want to put pressure on other people. I don't want to force him to come out of the office and have to finish something that I started that he doesn't know what's going on. It's just, it's probably on me for caring, but I wouldn't have it any other way. If I had employees, I would want to, I don't want them to be my best friend. I am the boss type of thing, but I would want them to respect me enough that they wouldn't abandon ship at every opportunity. Just my opinion on that. Always going to Sundays in 2026. That's cool. That's more doable. I'm not insulting him. Sundays are typically dry and dusty. Going to be hard to get a hold of, but that'll be fun. Definitely, if he's going to Sundays, that'll be easier to get to. Have you seen the FXT mowers race at KB Speedway? Maybe. Maybe I've seen pictures of them. I'm aware of them. I will say that. I've seen them at other tracks and stuff like that, but it looks like fun. It looks like a riot, but yeah, not particularly at that track. Cherry Valley Motorsports in Lafayette, New York is our home track. It's a sprint track. We live in Florida. Nice. Yep. That's I've heard of Lafayette. Also, what was the other one? OVRP. They used to have I mean, maybe they still do have an oval. They have a road course there too. I am, you probably know, but I'm 15 minutes away from Avon. And the people ask, "Oh, you go to Avon?" I was like, "Never been." Road course, not my. If you saw my racing on NASCAR 25 on the road courses, holy smokes! What are these right turns, and why won't it? Heavy braking and I did get a little better last night. I came in second last night. I was doing Menard series and I got second on that. But boy, me on a road course is rough. Yes, and the Moors will be there the 4th of July. Oh, very cool. And he's going US Kurtz if he gets enough. Awesome. That's it. Surprisingly enough, now people will have a different opinion on this. UAS, it's a lot of horsepower for these smaller tracks. And I know that, maybe somebody tracks that have more grip, that are bigger tracks, that are more accommodating to the bigger horsepower type of engines. But I tell you what, they are a handful to get a hold of and a riot to drive on the little tracks because you can't just wide open the things. You're not putting it entirely on the chassis. You're not putting it entirely on tires when you get to that point. When you have to wheel the cart, it's fun to me. When there's off throttle time, it's fun to me. Don't get me wrong. I love going fast. I love, working on setup and working on tires and getting the thing to be even faster on those type of bigger tracks. But when you get on the bull rings, when you have to saw on the wheel, it's a riot, man. It really is. It's fun to me. You're going to be exhausted. There's no two ways around that. You will poop yourself out really, really quick on those tiny little bull rings with an open. But we raced at Champion. Last race I raced there in UAS. That's 10th mile. Sounds about right. Flat, hard to get a hold of. I was skipping turtles like it was my job, man. Dan, Kickstart Danny was behind me on his 450. And man, I was eating those turtles alive. He says I saw sparks every single time. I'd yaw the thing, I'd get it pointed, and I'd nail it. And then my left front would crest just over the turtles, and it would just kind of skip them. And he says sparks were shooting out the back of you every time. He says, but you were fast. He's like, I wouldn't change a thing either. I won a WKH championship at the GV in oh, nice. Very cool. Definitely a driver's check. You have to be a wheel. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I assume he's staying open tire, so that'll be, I'm sure, more Vega oriented, maybe even a Maxxis White. I would assume would probably work pretty well there. I mean, if you're open tire, run Burris. If you want, Reapers, if you want. But I'm assuming that if he's going open tire, New Yorkers, unless there are those of you who don't know who aren't in New York, we have some Burris tracks, AMS being one of them, a tire rule type of thing. But typically, if we're going to use a tire, it's usually going to be a Vega Yellow. The tracks up here, they're just, you can do, I'm not saying you can't do it with Burris. I've never ever insult any tire company, anything like that. But the sidewall, the grip level type of thing with the Vega allows for a range. You can go unprepped, you can go mildly prepped, you can, just any of the things, you can dope them right down to nothing. I've had, Vega yellows punching 20 before and work super well, especially on the open. When you run the open stuff, you can just lay it to them and they'll take it. You're not worried about straightaway speed. You're not worried about what I was describing earlier about snugging up your car, gaining too much, mechanical grip through the tires. You're not worried about that because you have so much horsepower that just get it to stick in the corner and then use the straightaway, type of thing. Ran Hoosier Detons and Oh, yeah. Yep, there you go. Hoosiers are, I know the karting community needs needs another tire company to be in the fray as much as they need a hole in the head. but I'd like to see Hoosiers get a bigger stake in the game. I know they do fantastic in the tread world, but yeah, yeah, it'd be cool to see him come back a little bit. But I see that it has hit the 60-minute mark. Like I said before, the attempt, I say the attempt just because I don't like to put out for certains out there, because sometimes my brain says, don't do this, or I'll get into editing. I won't like what I'm doing. I'll redo type of thing. But it should be the video Sunday should be Sights and Sounds. I think that's going to be the title of it. Sights and Sounds of Syracuse Indoor. And then I got a bunch of footage on my Insta. Like I said, I got a bunch of footage on my phone. It may not be a lot of me talking, or if I want to talk, maybe I'll do a little voiceover. I don't know where it's going to go. Again, I'm procrastinating, as I always do. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I wasn't last minute Larry doing everything on this channel, because it's a job per se to run the channel, to do the live streams, to make the posts, to share the things, to make the videos. It's kind of a job, but it's a fun job. And the thing about, if I were to batch record, it would feel more like a job to me. Would it make my life easier? Probably. But it, again, with the open discourse on here, me being on a schedule is just tough. My brain doesn't, it likes to. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for coming and hanging out. I really appreciate you every Thursday night. And see you Sunday for a video, and then back here next week. All right, guys. Later.